Oh God, those introductions always make me so nervous. Like a simple, like, okay, come to the front, but good enough. Thank you. Okay, first, can we just give some love to Jen's dress here and sparkly orange shoes? Did you see these shoes? Yeah.
I brought my heels, but then when I got here, I was like, fuck it, let's make it and let me be really me. So,
Love it.
Thanks for
that. Yeah, we're a good girl. Same thing. I brought my heels, and I was just like, you know what, not today. And it's funny because you mentioned it looks like I've got everything figured out, and I kind of love hearing that because it's been my personal mission for the last at least 6 months to debunk that myth. And so I think, we see the highlight reels, we see everyone posting on Instagram or at Facebook or any other platform what we want to portray. And for a long time, I think I wanted to portray that. I think I wanted to portray that I had things together, that I knew where I was going, and I still like to think that I do, but the reality is I'm very much figuring this out. And talking about authenticity, where Christopher go, there you are, I was posting in my car before I got here about Gangster's Paradise being on, like, that's real, that's what excites me. So it wasn't about, like I said, I ditched the heels. It wasn't about coming here completely prepared and having a super polished talk. It was about sharing real knowledge. It's about sharing my real journey. And the reality is I don't have all the answers, but I have some knowledge that is worth sharing. I earned 5 promotions in 5 years before starting my business. Thanks, I see quite a little hand clap there, I appreciate it. I doubled my salary in that time, and then I kind of reverse engineered what it was that I did to achieve success after success in my life to start my business and to write my book. And so Bossing Up is my book. It's available at the back, and the community that I run is Bossing Up as well. And these things kind of came into fruition. They were both kind of birthed at the same time. And I like to say that a lot of my success is really deliberate, that it was calculated, and that it was with intention. And for a good part of it, I would say that's right. But the community, I just kind of fell into, and I'm still learning as I go. But what I've seen are some 7 core pillars that have helped me to succeed and to grow it, and ultimately it has become the lead revenue driver for my business. So I'm on podcasts a lot as a guest, and I speak with different people, and they're like, where do you get your referrals, and how do you market, and how are you driving business? And the answer is always through the Bossing Up community. We have, I think it's about 4,000 or so members now, which recently took a hit because Facebook changed their algorithm, and they said anyone who's been inactive is going to be, they're going to have the group as an invitation in their mailbox, but they're going to actually be removed. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have like 10 people left in the group. And I lost about 1,000 people, truthfully, but those are the people who were not engaged, and so not necessarily the ones that I really want in there anyway. I want people to be getting value from it, and it's not that, hey, if you're not engaging, I don't want you here, but rather, if you're not finding value, go find that elsewhere. If you're not finding it here, I don't want you to waste your time. I am completely obsessed with providing value, and so that's what I seek to achieve with the community. So I've never really shared before, but I'm going to go through my 7 secrets to community success, which again have really helped generate business, to market what it is that I'm doing, to create brand advocates, and ultimately scale my business, but really grow as a person, because the people in this community, and mine in particular, have been so instrumental to my success. So here we go. Number 1, serve the community. So I mentioned I'm completely obsessed with providing value. This has been something that is non-negotiable for me. You turn that alarm off, dude. I was being like, Sam's on stage, hey. No?
It was actually the timer.
I'm like, oh, already? All good. Okay, so serve the community. So each of these are followed by a couple different points and a story in which how I've really applied it to achieve success within my group. So I just want to make sure that I'm telling the right story for the right point here. This one, you really want to capture the essence of the group. You want to know who your community members are. You want to know what their pain points are. You want to know what pisses them off. You want to know what excites them. You want to know how you can help to alleviate those pain points and really offer a solution in which you start to become tip of tongue and really top of mind for whatever problems that your business or your product or your service seeks to improve or to alleviate. And so serving the community has to start with understanding them. And understanding truly who they are behind the screen, behind the keyboard is essential. And you want to address what is not yet being addressed, meaning create a space in which people can talk about and act on things where they have no other forum to do so, which, with social media, with the internet, is so hard to create something proprietary and completely custom or completely new. If it exists, make it your mission to do it better. And so what I have found with, as I was starting the Bossing Up community, is that there was no place that I was part of anyway, no community that I was part of, or a place that I can go where I can both share my wins and successes, but also my losses. There are forums, there are message boards, there are places where people just come and drop what it is they're working on and say, hey, shop here, hey, buy my product, or we'll come and have really meaningful conversation and start exchanging dialogue and building relationships. But there wasn't one place that I found that we can do it all. And so the community comes with 10 guidelines, which really helps to make sure that people are getting the most out of it, but that they feel that they can be confident in sharing what it is they're working on. People are working damn hard to build their business and to build a life that they're proud of, and I want this to be a place in which people can feel like, yes, I can share this, and I have people who are cheering for me along the way. But I also want people to feel equally comfortable saying, guys, I dropped a major deal, or I completely fucked up, and I don't know what to do now, and so help me out. Has anyone been in this situation as well? And where we can really start sharing resources, being there for one another, and helping us really get into that next level of our potential, which is ultimately what Bossing Up is all about. And so the story here is one of radical innovation. And so again, that really, I define radical innovation as doing something new or better than it is currently being done. And when I first started Bossing Up, it was the community, it was Service Swap. And I started it right around the time that I was starting my business. And I was broke. I didn't have a proper business plan. I had no idea what I was doing and needed resources and skills in which I didn't have. And so I thought, there's got to be other people like me who are in this position who have skills that are really sought after, who don't have skills in certain areas, and perhaps we can barter, we can exchange. And so that's really what it became. It was really Montreal focused. It was let's exchange our services to help each other and our companies grow. And we did, which was super exciting. And as we grew, people were messaging me saying, Sam, do I really have to offer my services for free? Like, I kind of want to start charging for them. I'm getting other paying clients, and I really like the group, but I'm not into swapping anymore. I'd like to start generating some revenue, which is music to my ears. So I kind of got back to the drawing board and thought, how does this continue to be a community of value? And so Bossing Up evolved into, Service Swap evolved into Bossing Up, which was this idea of stepping into the next level of your potential. If you want to barter, you can. If you want to swap, feel free. But if you want to charge, you're welcome to. And don't be afraid to promote what you're working on, because we've all got your back, and we've seen you grow, and we want to continue to see you develop. So right around the same time, I started writing the book, and the book was written with this community in mind. It was a continuation of how do I continue to provide value. I see where their pain points are, I see how they're growing, and I've got something to say that I think would really resonate with this audience. And so when it came time to finding a name for my book, it only made sense as I was thinking, who is going to have it in their hands? I was working with one of my formatters, and she said, okay, close your eyes and picture where is this person who's purchased your book, and what do they look like, and what are they wearing, and what is your book doing in their hand? Is it in their bag? Is it on their table? What's going on? Are they on the train? And I started seeing faces of people in the community, and it was all the people who I personally have reached out to, who I know what they're doing with their business, who I know, what's going on with their family, with their education, and they became my main driver, and have continued to be so. And so serving the community must, at its core, be your main mission with growing it. So we'll go on to number 2. Thank you. So embracing vulnerability, we talked about authenticity and really the importance of being yourself. I encourage you to go, drill one step deeper. So yes, be yourself, but not just your best self. People don't just want to see the highlight reel. They want to know what went into this seemingly overnight success story. And it's impressive to some when I say, yeah, 5 promotions in 5 years and doubled my salary and now speaking all over the world and have a book, and they're like, wow, how did you do it? With a lot of heartache and with a lot of compromise and a lot of shit that I went through, that I missed parties and I didn't go to certain things and I said no to a lot of things, and there was a lot of work that I had to do personally to get through these self-sabotaging thoughts, to get through, the negative self-talk of telling myself that I can't, that I'm not good enough. These are real parts of the journey that may not get as many likes, but are so important in people seeing themselves in your story and ultimately buying into the brand that you're creating. So there are lots of groups that will share, or pages, how to 10x your income or 3x your following, and there's a place for that. People want to know that, and there are people who are doing some really dope things, and so we want to share these things, we want to learn them. But I think what was more important for me in where I was at in my journey was really understanding and connecting, understanding people and genuine connections. And so what has really helped me to embrace vulnerability and what has really helped grow the book, it's been a huge door opener, is writing the book, is getting deeper in letting people into my story, because I'm not one for the person you went to high school with, way overshares and baby daddy issues and lots of other things, and you're like, girl, I feel you, but not Facebook. And so it was an opportunity and a vehicle for me to say, listen, it hasn't all been rainbows and butterflies. I've got these, stories to share that I think we can all rally around, and they're more thoroughly explored in the book. And so because the community had really started to be the driving force behind it, it was a logical next step for them to go and say, hey, we're in her group, we like what she does, we follow her stuff, we use her content, put it into practice, and so let's check this out. But what it has helped to do is really inform my social presence. I'm seeing what resonates, what sticks with people. I'm seeing which parts of my story people are surprised at, people are using in their own journey. And I've come to understand that influence is so much more than just being yourself. It's about being your full self. It's about sharing the parts of you that you may feel like, oh shit, how can I share this? Who's gonna, I can't share this. This is kind of the depths of my soul and the darkest parts of my brain. But we're all in it together. We're all having these thoughts, doing these things, wondering, will it make sense? Will anyone like it? Will anyone resonate with it? And what I've really begun to appreciate is stepping out of this polished, have it all figured out persona and into one of equally sharing hardships, which is why it's been, again, a big part of why the Bossing Up community is doing so well, because it's not just the good. What's really helped with people understanding more of my story is that because they've seen, I call it pity city, they see me kind of going through these ups and flows, they see the highs, they see the lows. When something good happens, they want to cheer me on, they want to support me. When I launch a course, when I launch a workshop, when the book has come out, I have a community, 4,000 people backing me, saying, yes, Sam, we want to see you succeed, and that is so special. But that's not because I'm just sharing consistent, polished images. It's because I'm sharing value and I'm being real. So we'll go to number 3. So offering free content, you have to give parts of yourself in order for people to follow you on your journey. And I work with a lot of people who think, I can't put this content out just for free. This is valuable. I should be charging for this. Or, this stuff's gold. I can't just post it. And I need to put it behind, an email. I need to get them on my mailing list. I need to charge at least something, top of the funnel, to start moving them through and really convert them at the end. But at the end of the day, there are very few things, very few bits of knowledge that are proprietary. And so with one Google search, people can probably find what it is that you feel is oh so awesome, can't give for free. What you want to give for free is the what. People want to know what you're doing. And where you can really start to think about converting them and driving value from a business perspective is the why and the how. So the what, give them what you're doing, what you've learned, what's working for you, what's not working for you. This is how they'll buy into your brand, into the value that you're putting out there, so that when you want to know how I did it, or want to know why this is working for me, then you bring them into a private group, then you get them on your mailing list, and then you start to nurture the people who have already bought into what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to influence on them, and that you know, the changes you want them to make for their own lives, but that, you know, we can't get hung up on, oh my gosh, I can't give it for free. And it's because of what we give that people are willing to give parts of them back, whether that's their time, their hard-earned money, whatever resources are of value to them. It is a give and take. And so offering free content, being consistent with my posting, being, you know, always thinking about giving value. This has been hugely, like, a large reason why I'm selling out workshops and speaking events and master classes and the Boston Up Academy, which I recently didn't lose it, launched. Thanks. Good looking out. It is because I give so much of what I'm doing to others to say, listen, maybe this might work for you, that they're willing to say, that actually did work. And you've got other insight as to how I can implement this in other parts of my life, or why this is working for you in a completely unrelated area. Interesting, yeah, okay, I'll go to that workshop, or yeah, okay, I'll go see you speak. And so free content is really a door opener. It is a conversation starter, and it is why I've been able to get people on board with what it is that I'm saying, that I'm really preaching for, and saying, guys, this is working for me. There's no reason it can't work for you, but we need to work together in order to make sure that we're keeping each other accountable and that we're actually sticking to results. Go to number 4. So one of the biggest perks of having a community is transferable skills, the social capital, is the ability to learn from each other. And if you're not facilitating that for your community, it's really a missed opportunity. What I love about the Boston Up community is that they jump on every opportunity they get to say, oh yeah, let me introduce you to this person. Or yeah, absolutely, you know what, I worked with this guy, you're gonna love him. And, you know, or saying, I actually have skills in this area, let me help you with this. And again, help doesn't necessarily come for free, but it's about being able to confidently say, yep, this is my area of expertise and here's what it's going to cost you. Or I actually love this initiative so much, I just want to be part of it in any way that I can. But it's about connecting people. And what I found so helpful for me is really understanding my top contributors and getting to know them on a personal level, whether they know it or not. It's about understanding what are they posting, where are they struggling, what successes have they showed recently, what's going on in their personal lives that they're sharing on social media, so that when they post a question or start a poll or ask for help in any area, I can say, you know what, I know that these are things you've talked about in the past and these are people you've worked with in the past. Perhaps consider trying something new. Perhaps consider trying working with this person. And I've been able to connect them with each other, with opportunity, with other resources in a way that other communities that I'm part of, not that it lacks, but that because I've started to do that, the community is so committed to doing the same thing. They see me connecting people, they want to connect people, they want to refer their friends' business, they want to see people succeed. And I've had not just my own business, but I've had so much business driven from community connections within the Boston Up members that they've been able to scale and to really get themselves to the next level of their potential. So if you're going to start a community, if you have one already, as a facilitator, it is your responsibility to connect people. If you're just having them come in and sit there, what is it all for, right? You want to give people the most value, and if you've got people who are buying into your mission and the direction in which you're going, help rally the team, connect them so that we can link arms and move collectively in the same direction. Another thing people really care about. So we care about, our needs being met. We want to be heard. We want to be valued. We want to feel significant as humans. And so the more you're able to recognize what someone is going through, where they're struggling, and how you can add value to get them out of their own pity city or the valley of despair, and into a more promising place where they feel like, I actually got this. This feels really good, and I feel supported. You have to think bigger than yourself. You have to think bigger than them. And so if you don't have a mission for your community and you're thinking of creating one, or if you are kind of organically just starting a movement, you don't have to have a Facebook group to be leading a community, but to be rallying people towards a common goal, it's essential that you have, that you think about what do they need to be connected to that will really provide them with the most value. Because if you deliver that, if you help to alleviate their pain points, if you provide value, and if you are connecting them, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be community members and business drivers and brand advocates and champions and whatever you want to call it forever. And so these are the people who are really going to help your business and your brand get to the next level. For me, when I talk about, top contributors and how those have really become brand advocates for myself and for my brand, it is acknowledging who are the people who are connecting others, who are the people who are sharing their stories, who are being vulnerable, who are taking a chance to really say, guys, I'm working on something, I'm not sure if anyone's going to like it, but I'd really like your feedback, and rewarding them and making sure that they do feel heard, that they do feel significant. And those are the ones that I make a special attempts to really connect them with those as a thank you for being the ones who are keeping the conversations going, who are sparking meaningful and valuable conversations that are really helping each other move the needle forward. Go to number 5. So this is a fun one. I really love incentivizing members. So this has come in all shapes and forms in the Bossing Up community, whether that's contests, whether that's challenges, either personal or group. We started the 30-day Bossing Up challenge at the beginning of the year, which was every day for 30 days, let's try something to help each other boss up. And what was really great was I've got 28 chapters in my book and 30 days for the challenge. And so as you can imagine, I repurposed a lot of that content. So if you're thinking about what the heck do I post in a community? How will I continuously add value? Think about what it is you're already creating, that you have already created, and repurpose that in a way that provides new value every time. So I wasn't simply copy-pasting chapters or paragraphs, but really the main lessons that I thought would be still valuable. Maybe someone read the book last year, but is in a new place, is in a new job, has started a new business in which that information would start to resonate differently. And so, first, leveraging the content you already have, super helpful, but you want to think about ways to reward them just for showing up. These people are contributing to what can potentially be a huge business driver for you, and you shouldn't ever take that, for granted. You want to thank them, and what I've done, I stopped promoting the group on Facebook. So I used to put advertising dollars and getting some visibility and impressions onto the Bossing Up group, and instead I'm putting that money in the pockets of members. And so I'm saying, guys, I really want this community to grow. So full transparency, this is my mission. I want to get more like-minded people who can provide value in the doors here, and I want to reward you for it. So I try to link all of these challenges with ones that would really benefit the pain points in which I'm seeing come up in conversations and the parts of their lives and businesses that really matter to them, and say, okay, so not only do I want you to think of one positive affirmation today that will really help you get over a self-sabotaging belief that has been lingering, hovering over your head for months now, but do that and invite your crew in. Invite people in. The one who invites the most, and I break it down. So there's a $25 gift card, there's a $50 gift card, there's a $200 grand prize. I think that's what it was for the Bossing Up 30-day challenge. And again, you're making the community members feel heard, feel significant, feel like they're doing something good for themselves, that they're doing something good giving back to the community. And in return, I think I'm not sure if it was the Bossing Up 30-day challenge, but one within the last year ended up bringing in 1,500 people in 30 days into the group. And I don't think that it's only because the $200 grand prize. I mean, I think it's certainly part of it, but you're giving someone an opportunity to feel better about themselves, to do something better, to move the needle on their business, on their lives, and hey, why not win some extra cash? And so I've shifted my marketing dollars into, again, the pockets of the community members, and that's helped me grow at a rate that I had not expected. So something definitely to try as you're looking for more exposure and more valuable contributions. We'll go to number 6. Facilitating offline connections is kind of one that happened by surprise for me. I really thought this was going to be a Facebook group, nothing more, nothing less. And what I've learned is that digital or virtual or online groups, while they're good for global connections and while they're good for convenience and while they bring a lot of people together quickly, what you lack is the water cooler talk. What you lack is the genuine face-to-face connection and the ability to look at someone, shake someone's hand and say, you're someone I'd really like to do business with. And so I saw the need, there were a lot of people posting in the group, hey, does this group get together? Or is anyone, does anyone want to meet up? I'm from this area. Does anyone else live here? Maybe we can get together, swap some knowledge. And there were little hubs growing and people were getting together, swapping knowledge, going for coffee, starting little mastermind groups. And I was like, you know what, I gotta listen to what's going on here. And so I said, you know what, if you're in this group and you're in the Montreal or surrounding area, come over. I'm going to do a Bossing Up family dinner. It's going to be potluck style. And I had no idea what to expect. 40 strangers ended up showing up to my 2-bedroom apartment. And we had way too much food. And we had the best time. It was like an adult house party. Not like adults, but it was a grown-up house party. This is being edited, right? And it was so great. I mean, people were sitting on the floor, they were moving furniture, making themselves at home, and it was exactly what I had intended for the community to be. And hey, I know a guy, have you worked with this person? What do you do? Oh my God, my sister is looking for this. Great. Swapping business cards, following each other on social, and the need for this group. And so the second time I did it, I charged $10, just basic, let's cover the cost of the pizza, but again, let's do it at my house, see who wants to show up. And at this point, the community has grown into an international community. We've got people from all over the world, but still a lot of people in Montreal. And so I thought, it's a Friday night, people have better things to do. This time 70 people showed up to my apartment. Okay, I think we need a venue at this point. This is a mini conference, but it was still so cool. And it was, people loved the fact that it was this informal way to get together, to share information, to promote themselves and to promote each other. And so eventually that evolved into the Bossing Up Brunch. So an event that we got a venue, and at this point, tickets went up. I think they were $70 or so. There was a full brunch, there was champagne, and it was an event at this point. And I was like, I don't know who's going to show up. And the first time I put it out there, it was silly, kind of right in the heart of summer, and a lot of people were traveling, and people were like, oh, I would love to be there, this sounds really cool, but I can't, I'm traveling, I've got this wedding, I've got graduation, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, is this just lip service, or do people actually want to come and they can't? And so I took a chance, I changed the date to one in September, and the event sold out with almost 100 people who came, and they had seen so much value in previous events and in what they're getting from the community online, and they had such a desire to connect in person that it wasn't about the price, it wasn't even about the food, it was about getting together with other people that they felt they could be themselves with, that they can shamelessly say, yeah, I launched a new product, I'd really love if you could check it out, or come to the launch party, or XYZ, right? Giving out coupons, giving out promos, and really supporting each other in a way that we don't see in other communities. However, Influencers Unite, I mean, y'all are here, you better connect some dots. This is going to be a great opportunity for you. So, just one thing to leave you with on facilitating offline connections is that mobilization inspires action. education alone is not going to inspire your community to do better, to be better. But if you give them an opportunity to put that knowledge into action, and that opportunity often comes with getting together, with connecting the dots, connecting people with those that really can contribute to their journey, you'll be able to help them move the needle. And then you're the one who, when they think of, well, how is this possible? Or how did I get here? That they attribute at least part of their success to you. And if that can be of value to your business, you want to be that person who's top of mind for them, so that they keep coming back, referring business, and ultimately continuing to be your champions. So listen and let lead. This is one that I'm still learning. Your community is not a megaphone for self-promotion. And it's very easy for me to get caught up in everything that I'm doing and saying, be there, show up, I'd love to see you, buy this book and buy this bracelet and come to this workshop. And that's not what it's there for. It's certainly part of what I want to help promote, as again, I'm one of the members, and so I want to encourage people to promote what they're working on. But as the facilitator, it can't be about me. It's got to be about them. And I have to listen to both the verbal and non-verbal cues. I have to listen to what people are telling me, but I've got to look at what are they engaging with, what are they watching, what messages are people sending me. There's a lot of people who communicate I would say offline, still online, but not within the group themselves, because they feel more comfortable as an observer and they don't necessarily like to be put on, under the spotlight. And so allowing that feedback to lead and inform the next step in my business, in the evolution of the community, is really important. And being willing to take the back seat and perhaps not pursue an idea that I was really excited about, because it's simply not what they want or see value in that moment, has been a bit of a tough pill to swallow. A quick story here on letting them lead. So if you're in the group, some of you might remember that I kind of sort of half launched a Bossing Up retreat. And it was like very well planned. The location was picked, the agenda was picked, everything was sorted. I had a travel agency, was ready to go. And I put a poll up before the announcement saying, what areas would you be interested in traveling to for this retreat? And I was like, Europe and down south. And people are like, Tremblant. Like Toronto maybe. And I was like, damn guys, I really want some sun. Like beach, wouldn't that be so great if we started the morning on the beach? And no one was taking the bait. And still, I was stubborn. And I said, fuck it, we're going to Dominican, who's coming with? And no one came with. But it's because I chose not to listen to what they were telling me. They told me blatantly, yes, this is incredible, we see the value, I would love to attend, it's too far, I don't have the money for it right now. My audience is not the one in the Boston community today. To be able to just drop $3,000 and spend 2 weeks of their 10 days of their vacation time to invest in this right now. But if it's a long weekend, and a few $100s instead, then yeah. But I didn't listen, because I had a vision, I had my own personal wants that I decided to prioritize, and for that reason, knowing that I was kind of going against the grain, I didn't really promote it. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do video, I'm not going to put some money behind social promotion and getting more impressions, I'm just going to kind of leave it and see what happens. And sure enough, nothing happened. And so instead, what I started to do is I take polls on a regular basis, start to gauge the interest. What do you like to do? What are you working on right now? Where are you stuck? Where can you most use help? And these are the things that inform what I'm talking about, my workshop schedules. They inform what I'm going to be speaking about, and ultimately what I'm feeding back into the community as value. And this has been hugely helpful in being able to turn up both engagement, but also getting more people through the door. So I'll leave you with this quote. Blessed is the influence of one true, loving human soul on another. If influencer status is one that you're going after, and you really want to seek change, you're already off to a wrong start. It's not a status. It's a way of life, it's a decision, it's about showing up when no one else is showing up, it's about doing the work that no one else is doing or that you feel is so needed for the people who you really want to lead. And in order to be truly influential, you need to be better for them so that they can do better themselves. Thank you.